Hi everyone. Welcome to the thing.
The weather said it's supposed to start raining soon. I really hope it actually does. It's nothing like staying at home crafting and it just cold rain outside and you're all snuggled up in a sweater with some tea. Anyway, welcome. Welcome to the Crafting Sparrow podcast. My name is Amanda, and this is where I talk about a lot of my crafting stuff. Well, this is where I talk about all of my crafting stuff. Kind of just a show and tell, if you will, of what I've been making for the month. And this month is kind of a special situation here because it's so close to the holiday season. A lot of my works in progress that I talked about last episode are kind of put on hold, and I did some special projects for some loved ones of mine. And I thought I would just show you guys those this time and a beautiful Advent project that I've been working on. So I hope maybe it's the perfect weather for you out there wherever you are. Maybe you like a sunny day in the winter, or maybe it's even getting to be summertime if you're in the southern hemisphere and it's a beautiful day out there as well. Regardless of the weather or the season, I hope that you are having a wonderful day and you're going to get cozy while I show you guys what I've been making on. And yeah, so let's get started. Right, so my creations this month are actually more than knitting. It's actually the majority of what I'm going to show you today is crochet. And that is because all of what I'm showing you today is Christmas gifts that I've made for my nephews and my niece. So if I have any family members that are watching this and the little kiddos are in the room, maybe not play this because they'll be getting these very soon when we hand out gifts. So yeah, so I will be showing you, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 crocheted. All of the crocheting ones are amigurumis or like stuffed toys, and then I will have one knitted gift that is super tiny and super cute, and I'm really excited to show you. So without further ado, let's get started on the first stuffed toy that I made, which is this little cutie. It is the snake plushie by Susanna Berra. This is for one of my nephews. He likes snakes, and how could I not make him this little cutie? He's got a tongue that I made out of embroidery thread and some safety eyes, and this was just a really fun, simple project. I think except one of the stuffed toys that I made were made with I actually don't know the size of this crochet hook. I think it's 4.5. The size of the crochet hook actually got rubbed off. This was the first crochet hook I ever bought myself, so it's fairly old. I got it at Hobby Lobby, and actually I could tell you the size of this by looking up the color of the hook and what they're selling at Hobby Lobby still. Maybe I will, maybe I won't. I think it's smaller than 5mm and bigger than a 3mm. And And this is like a cotton worsted weight yarn. And yeah, it's a little cutie. I don't have much to say. I mean, I crocheted it to pattern, and I mean, actually, I think I added a few rows in the body a little bit. So maybe he's a little bit longer than what the pattern would call for, but that's not really that big of a deal. It's just adding a couple of rows. Man, it's weird talking about crochet projects on here. I like want to tell you guys what the needle size was and just all these other knitting details, but it's not knitting, it's crochet. So yeah, this is probably going to be a fairly short episode, by the way, because yeah, I don't have much to say about these. I followed most of them to pattern, and I just wanted to show you guys my little toys that I made. Hi, baby. You want to come sit with me? Come on. Come here, baby. Come on. Come on. Come on. She's going to make me pick her up. Come on. Come on. There you go. She's a little bit out of the camera, but there she is. Right, so that was my first stuffed toy that I made, and it is a snake. Okay, the next one that I made is for my one niece that I have, and I heard that she really liked Nightmare Before Christmas this year. So, actually, you're turning pages in my journal. Okay, you have fun with that. Anyway, so I made her Zero from that movie, which, if you don't know the movie, it's like this little dog ghost that is the pet of the main character, Jack Skellington, and he's a little ghost dog with a jack-o'-lantern nose, and he's really, really cute. And he was always one of my favorite characters in the movie as well. So, and actually something cool that I did this time that I've never done with a crochet project is add a little bit of like a pink blush to the toy, which I always found really cute but never really had a reason to do. So that was really cool to be able to do that this time. This pattern was by Carolyne Brodie. All the patterns will be linked down below, and I found all of them on Ravelry, so it should be pretty easy to find if you are able to use Ravelry. Yeah. Zero. This wool was actually, well, wool, it was patterns. It was all the yarn that I used for these creations were just stash yarn that I had, except for one of them where I had to actually go back and get more because I ran out, but I'll talk about that when I get to that one. But here's Zero. It's kind of an interesting thing because you expect it to have like a body, but it's just like a half bowl thing. But it's pretty fun to do. I liked it. And the next one that I made is this one. This is for my oldest nephew, and his name is Mr. Birb. I actually didn't know what to make my oldest nephew. I was just scrolling through Ravelry and trying to find something that was just kind of his personality, and he's a really funny kid, and I thought this was a really like derpy kind of project, and I thought he would enjoy it a lot. So this was made out of the same wool as Zero and some acrylic that I had in my stash, as well as this. And this is by Sarah Graber. I like his little tail. I actually didn't know how to do the tail when I read the pattern. I was a little bit confused, and I couldn't find any photos from projects of other people that had the tail on it. It was just mostly the front side of the toy. So I just kind of followed the pattern for it, and it's actually the same pattern piece as the wings. But clearly it looks very different from the wings because I didn't stuff it, and I just kind of folded it into this like three like crowned like piece. And then I sewed down some thread on the inside a little bit so that it would stay folded. I used the thread, the tail end of the thread when I sewed it onto the body. I also just, like I said, went a couple rounds on either side of this so that it would stay folded a little bit. And I love him. So cute and derpy, and he sits because his legs are in front of his body. Cute. I really am flying through this. Holy cow. Okay, so the next crocheted toy that I have is for the second oldest nephew of mine. And a while back he requested that I make him an Eevee, like the Pokemon Eevee. I'm pretty sure it's his favorite Pokemon. He hasn't told me, but he had a old crocheted Eevee, not for me, from somebody else, and it was falling apart, I guess. And so my mother-in-law sent me a picture of him holding that poor Eevee and said he wanted another one. So I got onto it, and it was a little while ago, and I told her I would make it for him, and I started it, but then I put it down because I had other things that I wanted to make for other people and myself, and it just kind of got put on the back burner. And then when we were over there a couple weekends ago for a family Christmas event, he asked me if I was still gonna make it. I was like, well, that's it. I have to make it. He's remembered a month or two after he asked me, so. But it was perfect timing for Christmas time, so I finished it, and I think it's really cute. I didn't have yarn in stash that was exactly like Eevee color. This is a bit more of like a dull brown compared to what Eevee's actual color is, but I just wanted to use stash for a lot of these, so I don't think he's gonna mind. And this was some, I guess you call it roving. It's just a really thick wool that isn't plied in any way, so you can just like pull it apart. And I separated it because it was like a really bulky roving. I separated it into smaller pieces, and then I fed it through the top part underneath, basically where the head was attached to the body. And I did that all around and even on the tail, and I still need to brush it out a little bit, but and then I just like took it, I tied it before I did this so that it was secure and it wouldn't pull out, but I took the fibers and just pulled them apart so they wouldn't stay in those straight lines, and it's more of like a fluff instead of lines. But I do, like I said, I think I'm gonna go through with a like flea comb brush and just like really get those fibers separated. But yeah, here he is, the little Eevee, and that pattern was by 53 Stitches. And all of the patterns that I've talked about so far are free as well. The one I'm about to talk about was the only one I had to pay for, so that's pretty good to be able to make these little Christmas gifts without having to really spend anything, just a lot of time, which I think is very sweet. Instead of spending a lot of money, really just take the time to think about the person that you're making it for, and just put a lot of love into it instead. So there's Eevee. Okay, so my last stuffed toy that I made is for my all the ones that I've talked about so far are my husband's side of my nephews and niece, and this one is actually my blood sister's that sounds so strange, blood sister. It's my sister's son, her oldest, and it's a little bear. This is the Tall Bear by J.A. Poolvos. This was the one I had to pay for on Ravelry. And as I mentioned, I had to go and buy some yarn. This is the one, if you couldn't tell, that I had to go back and buy yarn for. Clearly, you can see the color change there. Obviously, I had this original brown color for probably almost a year. So the color lots were way different. It's just cotton yarn from Hobby Lobby. I wasn't expecting to get an exact match of brown, but it kind of works in my opinion because it looks like he has like a shirt on. I don't know. I don't think it looks too bad. And I think he's really cute. He's got a little butt and a tail. Ta-da! I think he's gonna like it a lot. My sister collected Thai baby bears as well. So, I don't know, bears just makes me think of her. So I thought bear would be really cute for her son. And he's really soft. I love cotton with stuffed toys. The pattern actually did also come with a satchel bag that you can put on the bear. It's like a over the shoulders little satchel bag, but I figured my nephew's probably not quite old enough to really, well, he might would have liked it. I don't know. I just wanted to have something so that he can hold on to and hug, not really play with. He probably will play with it anyway. I'm going off on a very strange tangent here. The pattern comes with a bag if you want to make it. I did not. I did think about making a sweater for him, but time is not on my side. It is the 20th, and I'm meeting my family on the 22nd. And I want to knit things for myself now that I'm done crocheting all these things. But he'll still enjoy it, I'm sure. So, yep. That's all my crocheting stuff. And, but I do have one knitted gift, and that is for my sister's youngest. That is only 3 months, almost 3 months. And so I didn't make him a toy. I had plans to make him a lovey for his first birthday, as I did for his older brother. But I also made her oldest a pair of booties, a crocheted pair of booties, and she expressed interest in having a pair of booties for her newborn. So I made the baby Uggs. And these are by Autumn Street. These are also a free pattern and very interesting construction. It's knit flat, actually. And so you're all unfurl this. And since it's free, I don't mind sharing all this. You start out with, I've seamed it here. So imagine this not in a circle, just like as a rectangle. So you just knit a garter rectangle I did the smallest size, which was for 3 to 6 months. And that was a 5-inch garter. And then you bind off and you leave the first stitch on that bind off. And you pick up 29 stitches along the bottom. So if you have, this is going to be terrible for me to explain. If you have a rectangle and you bind off on the top, no, sorry, bind off on the side, because you're knitting like this. And then you have your 1 stitch down here left, and you pick up to get 30 stitches along the bottom. And that's what this garter is right here, right there. And then you knit 6 rows of garter, and that's, like I said, this section here. And then you knit 5 rows of stockinette. And then you do this thing where you knit 15 rows in the middle of the 30 stitches so that you have this, like, think heel flap for a sock. Yes, like a heel flap for a sock. And that's actually, I thought that's what I was making when I was making it. But it turns out it's just the top of the foot. And then you, like a gusset or a heel flap, and moving into your gusset, you would pick up stitches along the side, and then back on the other side, and then you knit a couple rows with the decreases in certain places, and then you do some garter at the bottom, and then you have this flat piece that you just fold on itself, and then you bind off for the bottom little foot. So I did a 3 needle bind off in the middle here. And then all I had left was this section right here that was still open, and you take the tail end from when you started, and you just seam this section, and you do that to where the inside is what's going to show, so you want to have the wrong sides together, and that's because you fold it right, so the seam won't show when you fold it. And then you flip it inside out and you seam together the back of the foot with the right sides together, because that's the side that doesn't show when you have the sock on. So I thought it was really interesting. That was probably a really crazy explanation. There are some projects on the Ravelry page that have a picture of it that really helped me wrap my head around what I was doing. Because I thought I was doing the heel flap, because booty is a sock basically, but actually I was just making the top of the foot and then just slowly making this part until it was the right size, and then I seamed it. It's a really cool pattern. If you have somebody you can make them for, I highly recommend it. I will say the pattern called for a 5mm needle, and let's just say I had to go with a 2.25mm needle. I'm notoriously a loose knitter. I am continental style knitter, and which lends itself to being much looser by nature, and even as a continental knitter, I think that I am a loose knitter. So that's very typical for me. I don't know why I'm such a loose knitter. So those are all the gift knits and crochets. Gift crochets? Is that the term? I don't know. Gift crochets, sure. Gift knits just sounds so much better. Anyway, yeah, I'm really happy with them, and now that I've showed you guys them, I can wrap them up all cute and give them to the kids. I'm really excited to see them open them up, and hopefully they'll just instantly fall in love and snuggle with them, but kids are usually on opening presents, they're just like, unwrap, okay, next, unwrap, okay, next. That's actually what I'm expecting to happen. So next I'm going to move on to what I've been knitting other than those things. Like I said in the intro, I got an advent calendar from River Kelly at AknittersHomestead, and it's my first advent calendar that I've ever bought before, and I love it. I love the concept of opening up a little package of yarn with sometimes other goodies every day before Christmas, and it's such a charming and heartwarming idea, worth every penny. And so anyway, I'm just rambling on about how awesome it is. Let me just show you some of the things I did. I am blocking a lot of the yarn right now. I'm making the Quadrophenia by Kay Jones, and basically what that is, it's a blanket, like a lap blanket, made out of 4 triangles, and it's basically 4 separate shawls made to make a blanket. I'm going to use it as a wrap. I think I'm going to fold it in half, kind of like the half and half wrap by Pearl Soho. It's a big square, but you fold it in half, and so you can wrap it around like a double layered triangle. Or I can use it as a lap blanket. I don't know yet. So you won't be able to see those today because they are blocking, but I do plan on showing the entire finished object in my January podcast, so keep an eye out for that. But what I am going to show you is the triangle that I'm working on now and some of the yarns that I haven't incorporated yet. I was on my game the first 2 triangles, hence why they're done. Like, I was literally working on the yarn for the day at the end of the day on the triangle. I was really proud of myself for keeping up with it. It was the only thing that I was working on. That's why all of my projects have been put to the side, because I was so hyper focused on the Quadrophenia blanket in my advent calendar yarn. But then like a week or two, it's like a week ago, I was like, I really want to make some stuffed toys for my nieces and nephews and niece. So I did, and my time on the Quadrophenia dropped substantially. So anyway, I have, I'll just show you. So each triangle is each triangle is made out of 6 different Advent 20-gram skeins of fingering yarn, and so there are 6 colors in each triangle, is what I was trying to say. So here is the 3rd triangle. And like I said, it's basically just a shawl in garter stitch. It's really easy. It's a paid for pattern, and she has some really great tips on seaming and weaving in your ends and stuff. So even though it's a really simple pattern, I can still see why you would want to pay for it. And it wasn't that much, it was like $3, so definitely worth it. But yeah, it's just a triangle. Adding stitches at the end and beginning of every other row kind of thing. So I could tell you guys every single name of each colorway, but if I'm being honest, I zone out when I hear people talk about their advent calendar names. Like, it doesn't stick with me, so I don't see the value in doing it myself. But they're really beautiful, and some of them are tweed, which I love. I can't wait to show you the one of the ones I'm blocking right now is like a dark foresty green with tweed bits in it. Oh, I love it. It's my favorite color I've ran into so far. So yeah, that's that, and I am going to probably, after I stop recording, I'm going to add the next stripe because this one is done. But I will show you some of the colors that I haven't incorporated yet. I think that this is the next one that I'm going to be using. It's like a really pretty bluish with whites, and it's like a very snowy feel to it. And then there's, I think that's the last one, so this is the next one. And then it's this one, which has sparkly tinsel in it. And then, let's see, yeah, that's 3. So this will be the last one on the triangle I just showed you. And then it starts with this one, which is another one of my favorites because it's, you can't really see it too well because of the lighting. Well, you can see some green there, but it's like a minty green. It's less on the blue side, more on the green side. There was another color like this. I think it was day 3. It was like this, but it was more on the blue side. Very beautiful. And then this was today's, another tweed. It's like a purpley pink tweed, and it came with this really cute stitch marker. It's a little mini peppermint. I like it. And speaking of stitch markers, this advent came with quite a few. They're all so cute. The first one was this snowflake. Here, let me put these down. It has The front of it is like a white color, and then the back is just silver. Really cute. And these all have the lobster claw clasp on it. Except for the peppermint one that I just showed you. I think that this was the next one. It's really hard to see in this lighting, I'm sorry. I feel like I'm hiding from the camera. It's an angel. It's a little angel. And then there was another one that was kind of similar with the little beads, but this time it's Santa. It's like a Santa snowman, honestly, because it's a big red one, and then a smaller clear one, and then a little hat, which I thought this was really clever. You can't see it very well, and again, I'm sorry about that, but there's this little white bead right here. And it's supposed to look like, you know, the white ball at the end of Santa's hat. It's just like laying next to the hat, the red bead hat. And it so works. It's so cute. I like that one. But this one has to be my favorite. Because it's really small, and I like small stitch markers. And maybe I'll add in a video a close-up of these. But this is a little pine cone. Or maybe a berry, I can't tell, but it's just really cute. And there's these two little blue beads. I just love it. So cute. Okay. So yeah, those are all the other stitch markers that the advent calendar came with. And I'm just really happy with it. It just makes me feel so extra festive. So that's all of the knitting and crochet stuff. I do have like a special little other crafty thing that I did last Sunday with my friend. I'm laughing because I just love it so much. So my friend saw this TikTok where an artist was demonstrating like I guess she like demonstrates some things you can paint and that are fairly simple. And she had a video where she demonstrated how to paint a gnome, a Christmas gnome. And so my friend saw that. She's like, oh, we need to try this out. And so she came over on Sunday, brought all this paint with her and the canvas and everything. And we made gnomes. Look at him. I love him so much. My vibe is very foresty. I like foresty earth colors and nature and stuff. So clearly my gnome is inspired by that. His name is Pete the gnome, and it's spelled P-E-A-T as in peat moss, hence the moss on his hat. And he has mushrooms, and his little feet are buried in the snow. But my friend had this like coppery chrome paint color, and so I can show you with the light here. It has some dimension, and he has a little copper bell. So that was really fun. Now he hangs up behind my Christmas tree back there. And something really cool is the flecks of like these dots here. Those are like individual like paint dots that I did, but the like snowy bits over top is me dipping a paintbrush in white and then just like flicking the paintbrush on like the paint onto the canvas instead of like brushing it on. Does that make sense? Just running my finger on the paintbrush and it just sprays like speckles of white onto the canvas, and it makes a really cool like snowy atmosphere. I like it. It was a lot of fun. We sat there and painted for like 3 hours and just listened to Christmas music, and it was very festive, and it brought me a lot of joy. So yeah, guys, I think that's it. Like I said, it was going to be a much shorter one because it's kind of a special episode where I'm just sharing all the gifts that I've been making in the advent calendar. Like I said, in January, I'm going to pick up as usual with all my whips that I've been working on or haven't been working on. Hopefully I'll have some of them done by the time I podcast in January. Fingers crossed. Now that I'm done gift making, I can focus on my advent calendar, Quadrophenia again, and maybe here and there some other gifts. I mean, knitting. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Whether or not you celebrate the holiday season, I hope that the next 2 weeks bring you comfort and you find joy in the people you are surrounded by, in the makes that you are involved in. And yeah, I will catch you guys next month on my January podcast. Take care. You gonna come on? Come on. You can come here. You wanna say bye? You wanna say bye, baby?